Oh yeah, you know you're in for a good time when you see that logo. Welcome back everybody. Obviously, we are going to be playing a Dreamcast game today, and we are also going to be playing a Capcom game today. I feel like the Dreamcast was sort of the golden system for Capcom games. There were so many great arcade ports that Capcom put on the Dreamcast that didn't make it to other systems. We're actually going to talk about this as we go through the video, but I feel like there should still be a market for these kind of games, but maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Anyways, let's talk about the actual game first. This obviously is Power Stone. This game came out in 1999. It is an arena fighter, like a 3D fighting game. It's similar in concept, though not in execution, to Super Smash Bros. Of course, all of the cast is original here, and I gotta say, like, the art style, the character designs, just the presentation in general is so good. Every single one of these characters is unique and interesting. I guess it was Hideaki Itsuno who was the designer of this game. Clearly I knew that off the top of my head and was not looking it up as I was speaking. But, man, what a great cast and what a great just general presentation. So we got a pretty decent sized roster here. And what you'll notice is that each one of these characters is distinct and they're all rememberable. Memorable. Let's try that. That's better. Just really was so much love put into these character designs. I'm going to be playing as Ryoma, who is the samurai character. Not to say that they're all not like certain stereotypes, but still. This is how the game plays out. I mean, many of you have probably heard of this game, maybe even played it. But you're basically in this 3D arena. You can just fight one-on-one. You've got stuff like throws and combos and that sort of thing. But you can also run around the level, pick up items. You can throw the items, or, you know, some of them have different uses, like a bazooka, obviously. Now, one thing that I will say is that although it is similar in concept to Smash Brothers, this is definitely more of a sort of a party game. I guess you could call it a casual game, but we all know that Smash is a casual game for baddies, right? So, yeah, now that a good portion of the audience has turned off the video. I'm just kidding. But it's certainly not a competitive game. There's a lot of, you know, randomness that goes on with the item drops and whatnot. You can't break out of combos, you know, that sort of thing. Now you'll notice as I play through, not only can you run around the level and pick up items, you can also interact with the level. So I was doing things like swinging off of the pole, jumping off the walls. And oof, that's just disgusting, isn't it? Yeah, they fixed the balance on that in the second game, but it's kind of broken here. Another thing you might have noticed, there were these Power Stones, hence the title of the game, gathered around the level. You collect 3, and you transform sort of Chaos Emerald style. Except you only need 3, not 7. Fun fact that you probably also know, Falcon's name in the Japanese version of the game was Fokker, with an O. Hopefully the YouTube algorithm doesn't hit me there. Not that I care. It's because it's a type of plane, and he's a pilot, get it? Puns. So, this is the way that the game plays out. You'll notice each of the levels is also fairly unique. They all play out a little bit differently. But that is so broken. Not that I'm not going to use it, but it is so broken. Part of the reason is because I have the damage cranked all the way up. You may notice at the beginning of the video, we're playing on maximum difficulty because, of course we are. But what I found was that when I was trying to do a run of this game with the damage set like to medium, it was taking way too long, and I didn't want this to be like a 40-minute video, so that's the reason. But anyways, you can see I get sort of powered up when I collect all the Power Stones, and at that point, your little timer starts ticking down. Every time you attack, it goes down. Every time you take damage, it goes down. But you can unleash sort of an ultimate attack that fills the screen, does a bunch of damage, that sort of thing. And in this one, we're also going to be playing the second one. I've already got the playthrough recorded, in fact. But in the second one, they balanced it a little bit better by making you not so incredibly overpowered. The thing is, you get unlimited, well, poise, to use the Dark Souls term. But basically, you can't be staggered out of attacks when you are powered up. Which means that essentially you can just stand there and wreck faces, I guess. So that brings me, in fact, some of these balancing issues. Despite all those, this game is still great fun. Although, I will say, I think the second one is even better. But we'll get to that. So, I spoke about it at the beginning, right? Capcom during this time, late 90s, very late 90s, I mean this was 1999, through to the early 2000s, released a lot of games that, released a lot of games, but some of these were fighting games, which actually are some of my favorite games. However, in comparison to what we typically associate with fighting games now, in 2020, in current era, they are not nearly as competitive. So I mean stuff like, frame-perfect combos, just very high skill ceilings. Not to say that there isn't a skill ceiling in this kind of game, or in some of the other games. I'm thinking of stuff like Techromancer or Rival Schools, which those are two of my favorite games, just period. They're more casual. For instance, in Rival Schools, you have a ton of leeway on entering the combo inputs. You can't break out of the combos, so you can kind of just do these really long combos with very lenient sort of inputs. Techromancer, you just have more limited options in terms of your attacks, and generally not all the characters are super balanced. I don't see this as a problem, though. So the thing is, right, obviously you can be good at a particular genre of games, like some people are very good at FPS, some people are very good at fighting games, but still, to get to that top tier, or where you feel like you're any good, of one of those games, specifically fighting games, I'm thinking of stuff like Skullgirls, which, rip, but we won't talk about that. Street Fighter V, or I guess Street Fighter 4, most people would be more on board with. You have to put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of hours, and if you take a break for, 2 months, then you're gonna suck. Not so in this kind of game. You can pick this one up and play it, and I think we're missing a little bit of that. Now, apparently Capcom has said, due to the success of some of their recent ports to PC, they're going to be looking at some of their older properties. And I think a game like this would, honestly, with online play, that would be just, I think it would sell a lot. And I think it would be fantastic. Especially because, spoiler alert, the second one allowed for 4 players. Who knows, we could get even more than 4 players, potentially. Apparently the creator has hinted at, he wants to make one, and thinks the Wii U might be a good... The Wii U? The Switch. Yeah, sorry, I'm living a couple years in the past. Might be a good fit for that. I don't necessarily disagree. Although I don't own one, so hopefully it also comes to PC. So that's something I've been thinking about lately. It's one of those really important issues that we think about. But it's true, right? Maybe some of you disagree, maybe some of you feel the same, but I feel like there is a market for a more casual sort of fighting game. Kind of like a party game, but yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think. And on that note, I do actually have upcoming playthroughs. Who knows when they'll be uploaded. I try to do a variety, as you know. But I've got a Techromancer playthrough already. I haven't done a Rival Schools one, but I'm basically ready to. Obviously Power Stone 2. And I might even do stuff like Plasma Sword, I don't know, we'll see. All these Capcom games that were like arcade, Dreamcast, and that's it. Once again, the Dreamcast was like a golden system for Capcom games. In fact, as great as this game is, I mean, it reviewed like super well. It was getting like 5 out of 5s and 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s when it came out. And I think it's still pretty beloved. It only ever came to the arcades, the Dreamcast, and then the PSP in the form of Power Stone Collection, which I did own, but the loading times were so horrendous that made it a real shame. Like, it was a real shame that it came out like that. Like, this kind of game, I think, is just dying for a PC release. Like, give us Power Stone Collection on Steam or Epic Games Store. You know, something. I don't know what he's doing here. You gotta love, by the way, in Japanese games, how we go back and forth between Garuda and Galuda for our translation, our romanization of that name. Just one of those quirks of Japanese pronunciation, I suppose. So we haven't been talking a lot about the game. It is pretty simple and pretty self-explanatory. And as I'm sure you've noticed, in Power Stone 1, here he goes again, he really wants that chair. In Power Stone 1, it is often the guy who gets the more powerful item that wins. But, that said, everything can still be countered. And if you're careful, I mean, you get hit and you drop the item, so that's a good way to go. If you're careful, you can do it. But I hope you notice what I mean. Like, each of these characters is instantly recognizable, at least in my opinion. Like, if you just saw artwork from this game and had like a basic understanding of the game, you'd be like, oh, that looks like it's from Power Stone. They each have their unique theme, and they're just great. Hopefully you noticed as well the level variety. We got the big levels, we got the small levels. There aren't any huge levels, and in fact, this is another thing. I know I keep talking about Power Stone 2, but I'm excited. We're almost there. In Power Stone 2, you actually have levels that move with you. Think like, again, I'm going to draw the Smash Brothers comparison. Like where the levels actually transition and you have to move to new areas and stuff. But still, even here, you know, all the levels play a little bit differently. It's not just like a reskin of the same level over and over. And although I mentioned that like the characters aren't exactly balanced, like certain characters' powered up forms are not as useful as others, but all the characters are still viable. I mean, at the end of the day, it is still, I'll take that. It is still skill-based, despite being fairly arcadey. Go figure, it was an arcade game, so. Often, however, when your opponent powers up like that, the best option is just to run. Run away like a little baby. Not that babies can run, but you get my point. Now, one thing I actually don't know, you'll notice I'm doing different combos. There are 2 attack buttons, and depending on how you press them, you can do different combos. But I don't know if it actually makes a difference or if it's just for looks. And yes, there is a dizzy system. Go figure. So yeah, like I don't know if the damage is actually any different depending on what combo you do, but it looks cool anyway. Oh boy, there's the minigun. Ripperoni. Yeah, you see it doesn't turn very well though, right? So you can still defeat it if you get in on it. Now fortunately, even with damage up relatively high, you do still have time for multiple transformations in a single match. You'll notice that the maximum difficulty is not really that intelligent, so although they do go for the Power Stones, they don't necessarily get them, as long as I'm paying somewhat of attention. But still, you'll notice that, you know, both of you could transform within a single match easily. We've made our way into mini-bosses now. I believe you don't get to fight this guy unless you make it through Deathless. And what you might be thinking is, well, I know that all the designs are pretty good, but this guy is probably the weakest of the designs. Well, he didn't make it into Power Stone 2, so apparently they agreed. Delicious cake. This is a level that you'll see a lot more of this type of thing in Power Stone 2. With the different hazards, we got the anchor swinging back and forth, and actually those cannons can be activated. So they were kind of playing around with that. I also do like that the game gives you a rating on your combo when, in fact, 4 hits is like the maximum number of hits that you can get. I guess maybe for powered up you can get more. But in a basic combo. And it's not as if he can get out of the combo while I'm doing it, so... But, whatever. Unbelievable, as they say. Or as he says. Or as he said just now. Yeah, see, that design's a little bit more generic than some of the other ones. And again, maybe not the best use of his transformation. And again, maybe not the best use of paying attention on my part there. Now there's another funny trend in many of these Capcom arcade games, because they are arcade games, right? And at the end of the day, they do still want to take your quarters. Even though this is a Dreamcast game, not an arcade game, it's a port, right? That would be unfair final bosses. That's sort of a fighting game staple, in fact, not necessarily just Capcom. Like, obviously we've got, like, Street Fighter bosses, whether it be Vega / Bison, Kuma, whatever the other dude's name is. Think of Capcom vs. SNK 2. That was fun. We got, what else? Jinpachi in Tekken. Also totally unfair. Tengu wasn't that bad from Dead or Alive, right? But regardless. This guy, Valgus, which again, I'm pretty sure it's probably supposed to be Vargas. Like Vargas. Like, it's Spanish. But we'll go with it. It's fine. He's got a nice smile. Nice, beautiful smile. And, wow, did you see that? Did you see that dodge? He just dodged like 7 hits. Not cool. But that does show you that there is, in fact, a dodge button if you, you know, frame perfect it. So again, there is a little bit of skill involved in this game. But it's definitely, pick-upable and playable. Pick-upable and playable. Pick-up and playable? You notice that one, though? I kind of tripped up his timing. He thought I was going to attack right away. Totally on purpose, not an accident. So you're probably thinking to yourself, well, I don't know, this guy doesn't look that unfair to me. Yeah. Yep. One thing I gotta say is I think, and I didn't test this, but I think that when you crank up the difficulty, it kind of gives them higher attack and defense. Unfortunately, you can just kind of run under him when he does this. Because it seems like I did basically no damage there. Yeah, you don't want to get hit by that, though. Whereas when I'm getting hit, I'm taking a lot more damage, so maybe that's how they're scaling the difficulty somewhat, which is kind of lame, but whatever. It's one of those things where, like, is there really much of a point to criticizing a 20-year-old game. A game that's in fact already great. Yeah. Yeah, see, I'm not going to be able to get him before my power runs out. Alright. I have a bad feeling about this. And I definitely don't want it to go to sudden death. Alright. Yeah, you will notice that although he gets infinite poise or becomes unstaggerable, he still takes damage. Alright, so what was that unfair final boss I was talking about? Yeah. You must have seen this coming. Nice little load time there. Gross. Okay, it goes without saying, don't get hit by the beam. What I'm going to need here in order to actually kill this guy is some sort of... Yeah, that'll probably work. Like it. Oh yeah, that'll do nicely. Whoop. Ooh. Oh. Oh, that's just mean-spirited. Kill it with fire. Apparently that is a very wise adage. So there you go, everybody. Power Stone for the Dreamcast. This ending is very cliche, but I like it. It's almost exactly Mitsurugi's ending from Soul Calibur, where he breaks the soul edge, because he wants, you know, true strength or whatever. You said it, Ryoma. You said it. Alright. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this little playthrough of Power Stone. If you do want to play this yourself, unfortunately, you don't really have a lot of options. You've got, well, if you own a Dreamcast, like I do, if you own a PSP, or if you know how to do that, the E word, then I'm not going to say it, emulate it, I'm going to say it. If you know how to do that, and that's pretty much it. Great game. Second one's even better. We'll be doing the second one probably next. You know what? We'll go straight to it. However, next week, what I will be doing is uploading a long play version of this video. So all the way through, basically the same video, just no commentary. I always like giving that option for people who prefer it. Plus, they're fun to edit and make, so... that's pretty much all I had to say. Like I said, Power Stone, it's great. Give us a new one, please. Hope you enjoyed. I'll leave you with the credits, as I normally do. Until next time.